Hello, everybody, live back with the Creative Minds. I can't wait today. I mean, this is going to be such a fantastic opportunity. I'm Flavio Stiffan, and we have today a special guest along with my partner in crime, Stuart, Stuart, sorry, how are you doing today?
Hi, Flavio. I'm doing really well, thanks. It's been a really nice couple of weeks preparing for this particular show. It's interesting because product marketing has always been something that I've seen on lots of job descriptions and on lots of business cards when I've been traveling around. And it's one of the things that I first came into touch with when I joined the semiconductor industry 25 years ago. And I'd never really taken much time to think about what it all meant and what it was all about. But luckily, we found the perfect person to guide us down this road and give us a bit more information. And I'd be really grateful if you would introduce our guest for today, Flavio.
Absolutely. Susanne Trautmann is full of energy, as somebody that, while we prepared this episode, has been so much looking at how to do things. She has methodologies about product marketing, how it's fit into marketing. Susanne, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for your invitation. I'm really looking forward to our discussion about product marketing, and I hope that I can share some bits and pieces that are interesting for everyone who's listening and watching us today.
I'm so confident about that. There's no doubt about it. So let's just jump right into this. We talk about product marketing. We talk about marketing. There's the go-to-market strategy, and there's obviously the marketing strategy on top of that. And some of the elements, I mean, sometimes there's some confusion. You've got in companies or into startups a team that is a marketing team that is looking at branding, that is looking about how social media works, about the website and advertising and trade shows and
Yeah.
you name it. And this is great. But as long as you don't have a product to put behind that, it just doesn't do much sense, right? So, and this is where product marketing comes in. And so, how do you see product marketing and marketing fitting together into the go-to-market organization?
Yeah, so to me, and I can only talk about my personal experiences, the global marketing strategy is like your holistic marketing master plan for your whole business. This is where you basically your business strategy meets your brand strategy, and you need to translate your growth goals into your marketing toolbox and into the channels of your organization. And you have different layers to do that. You have, like you just said it, your social media strategy, your event strategy, the content strategy, but you have also product marketing strategies. And here you really map out all the marketing activities in regards to a product. And ideally, businesses create product marketing strategies for every product they're marketing if the audiences are separate from each other. And a brand that you set up is also something that a product marketing should tap into. And if we could find an analogy for that, Stuart, what's your favorite band or your favorite singer?
Oh, well, I'm a little bit into the grime scene in the UK at the moment.
Oh,
So I
oh.
think someone like Stormzy would be someone I'd turn on at the moment. By the
Okay,
way,
something that is something
something a bit
I
more generic, AC/DC.
yeah.
There you go.
AC/DC. Okay, great, perfect. Great example. So AC/DC would be like the global brand strategy. Over their career, they have created like hundreds of songs. And I'm pretty sure, Stuart, that you don't like every AC/DC song. I'm pretty sure that you probably have your favorite album. And so every fan has, so they have different target audiences for their songs, just as maybe Phil Collins in his time of Genesis targeted a different audience when he created a song for a Disney movie. So, but in the end, it's still Phil Collins, and you will remember his voice and the feeling, but it's totally different products. And to me, this is product marketing versus global marketing.
And this is kind of interesting because, I mean, you have so many people that would go and say, well, we're doing marketing for the company, or some companies would do marketing specifically just for a product. And we
Yeah.
talked into the previous episode about the different levels of branding. There's a branding of the company, level of or at the level of the product. And when it comes to product marketing, which many times the people that deal with product marketing are in fact linked to the product organization rather than to the marketing organization, it's very interesting because they have to understand as much as the marketing team what is going to make the audience tick. What are the features of the product or the service they are trying to position, and most importantly, what's the competitive landscape? And so I know you have a methodology, the marketing canvas, that does this. So can you give us a little more information about the marketing canvas? I'm going to put this on the screen so everybody can see how it looks like.
It's just like the little sister of the business model canvas, I would say. So imagine the marketing canvas is like the trailer for a movie. You don't want to explain the entire plot to your audience, but you want to excite them and you want them to get interested enough to watch or to talk to your sales. This is what the marketing canvas does, whereas the business model canvas simplifies the complexity of a business strategy. The marketing canvas does the same for your marketing strategy. It is a canvas framework. So this means that it's a template that is horizontal, laid out with 9 boxes. And canvas models do something with our brains, which makes them so very special, because our brains love radial information. Unfortunately, we only consume linear information the whole day when we talk with each other, when we watch a video, when we, I don't know, read an article. But we can consume only pieces one step at a time, not holistically all at once. And this is what canvas models do. So when you sit together with your team and fill in the pre-structured template from a customer perspective and talk about your product from a customer perspective with all the experts from your team, you will have these amazing aha moments. There is magic in the room, because you will realize that there are gaps in your knowledge, that there are some growth levers you have overseen, and that there are some hidden information just by looking at this canvas all at once. And once you really capture the information, you will get a deeper understanding about what this product is about. And this aligns your whole team, because this prevents miscommunication later on. And it will give you a level of clarity. And especially in B2B marketing is super helpful, because usually you don't have that many resources. So you want to prevent making the wrong steps and spend your time and resources wisely. So you get a better understanding of the resources and the essential quantity you need to get started. And that's, I kind of solved my own pain points with this product and tested it in the past years. And for me, it works. So definitely test it out yourself.
I think that's one of the really nice things about this canvas. So I was looking at this and comparing it to some of my experiences in my field at the minute. I work a lot with technical people to create technical content, and obviously the technical people who develop these products, they know the technical insights in and out. They know why it's better, how it's better. They also know all the faults, all the little bits that don't work. And for them, it's, as an engineer and being slightly analytical and coming from that sort of mindset, it can be very difficult for them to formulate a nice clear message and a nice USP for the product and things like that. So I imagine this is a really good way of drawing out all that information from these really technical people and then putting it down on paper, so that you can then go out and work with the marketing team who are a bit more creative to then sort of push that message out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Flavio, please.
No, that's a very good one there. And Susanne, you're on the same line too. There's a relationship that has to happen between the marketing team and the product marketing team, and they have to work in unison to make things work forward. And I think this is where sometimes what I've seen in my experience is that the product marketing team just looks just at their product, and this is the only thing they have in their mind. And the marketing team looks at the brand and the audiences that they are touching, and there's no relationship, or there's a difficulty of aligning the two together to look like being one company. So as a go-to-market strategy, Susanne, some startups are great doing it. Some others are really lacking behind that. What do you see? Do you see any other elements of disconnect that could create some trouble?
What you just mentioned is definitely a key trouble. I think if the marketing department is involved too late, when the product is ready to launch, it is too late, I think. There is a missed opportunity because marketers bring in customer centricity to the board. Because as a marketer, you have a better understanding usually of the audience and access to interesting tools, because you can A/B test value propositions. You can do market research or in-depth interviews or customer surveys. This is something that is usually overlooked, especially by startups, but also by larger companies that maybe have several product marketing strategies that they have to juggle in parallel. Because when in a B2B tech environment, when you're operating in like this constantly evolving technology landscape with ever always a higher level of competition, more fragmented markets, it is almost impossible to juggle all your key messages and product market strategies in parallel. This is why I think we need more clarity and tools that allow us to understand the essence of a product, because we don't need to confuse our audiences with overly complex messages, which is what usually happens when marketers rely too much on their experts in technology. From my personal experience, the issue is really that you have to talk to key people in technology, customer service, sales, of course, in R&D, but everyone will have a different perspective, and a different perspective also in regards to the value proposition. And when you try to align these perspectives, you end up with such confusing messages that dilute what you actually want to say. This is why I ended up realizing that I need to ask everyone the same questions, need to like steer the conversation to identify where their informations align, and how they create the bigger picture, kind of. So
There's an interesting
it's,
point you raised there as you were describing the need to sort of engage early with the marketing team, or at least with your product marketer. And you were saying to go out there and do some surveys and A/B testing. I think a lot of organizations that I've worked with in the past, they often fly blind. They develop a persona for target people who they think they want to talk to and who are going to be in a decision-making process. But nobody really goes out there and actually talk to these people. And I always say, like, well, can we just talk to one of your customers? Can we, if there's a friendly one out there, we could pose some of these questions too, to actually substantiate some of those points. What sort of, when you say do a survey, what sort of surveys have you been able to do? How deep do they go? They're done by yourselves, or do you use third parties to do that?
So I would use a third-party tool to do the survey. Like usually, they're a Survey Monkey or something similar. Tools are definitely available, and I'd recommend to ask your whole team for insights, because whoever has been in touch with the customer already basically has an idea that you can test with the survey. And but it's also about feedbacking what you get from the market as soon as you start to publish your messages, because you will get engagement with the click-through rate, with the engagement in regards to your posts, with questions and comments. This is all feedback on a similar level, and this feedback just needs a home. So this marketing canvas model is basically also a framework that would allow you to also in the future always feedback information about your target audience or about your competitors into certain boxes, so that you can fine-tune your message with everything that you learn along the way. Because in the beginning, you may not know your audience, especially when you go to market with a new product.
Yeah.
And the interesting part here is that as companies grow, different type of products come into the production, different type of services, and what I've seen is many times each division or each product group literally has their own product marketing team, and the role of the marketing team there is to make sure that there is this continuity of message that goes across the different product marketing organizations. Because, I mean, eventually you end up having multiple product marketing organizations that are positioning those products out. I mean, if you take a company, I'm going to say Mercedes-Benz, or if you take BMW, if you take any of those, I mean, you have those teams that are dedicated to a given product line. And whatever they do is linked to the corporate image. And it's very difficult sometimes because the product marketing teams, to my experience, are very focused, and they like to do even sometimes last minute changes, which would impact the whole marketing strategy about the launch of a product. So when we talk about new product introduction, or NPI, all that go-to-market planning has to be done associated with the corporate image, the corporate marketing team, and the product marketing teams aligned together also for having staggered product launches and having the right schedules. It's a massive piece of work, but as the company grows, this organization and this culture has to be built into it.
Yep. I guess this is probably one of the greatest struggles, finding the right tools to communicate as your organization grows, because I think not only does the marketing teams, but everyone in the company have to get a clear sense of the purpose and the vision where your business is going to, what your growth goals are, how they influence our work every day. This is really not only marketing activity, it's a company-driven activity.
So when you do your marketing canvas, Susanne, do you have like a product group team coming at you, or do you have sometimes a multiple group coming at you? I mean, what is the constellation of I would say, of the people that you have there that are looking at that canvas?
Yeah, it's usually people from every area of the business that have expertise in regards of the product, the technology, or the service that we're trying to market. Usually we start with an idea and we want to test a new product. So I have a 3D printing background where we have a lot of ideas for new applications, and we don't know if there's a market or not. So it's easy to just test if there is a market by just setting up some content ideas and see how they perform and what kind of questions and feedback we get. And it's really not that complicated. We just sit together, maybe someone from R&D and from sales. That would also be always pretty helpful. and whoever has an experience of the target audience we want to get in touch with. Especially if we don't have experiences with that audience yet. And in 3D printing, you have so many audiences you can tap into because this is such a universal technology. So definitely, we start usually from scratch, and then we create like the first marketing canvas. So the canvas itself, it's just a fine-tuned version out of everything we gather in the workshop. There is also another long form document that I usually gather in another, in OneNote or Evernote or whatever you would use to really get the full picture, because this is helpful when you want to create at some point a landing page, a brochure, or whatever content you need to extract from that. So the marketing canvas is really your trailer, your elevator pitch that everyone in the team should be able to summarize immediately. And in the long form content of information that I gather over time, I get all the bits and pieces that I use for content marketing. And talking with my colleagues is so helpful because I learn what words, what phrases are relevant, because they already know what customers are looking for, searching for when they try to find solutions. And I don't have to reinvent the wheel. The knowledge is already there.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most important things, also to make sure that any content that is established as a result of it, and it doesn't matter if it's written or video or brochures.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important thing is to have the right language, because that builds up a huge amount of trust in the audience you're trying to talk to. And I think on a side note to that, one of the most important things as well is when you're doing this process is also to ask salespeople and ask application engineers, any field engineers you might have in the team, what are the job descriptions of the people you're working with? How do they describe themselves? Because it's for example, I sometimes get involved in data center material, and I find it quite difficult because I don't know exactly how those people refer to themselves. So I think that's really an interesting thing. The reason I'm looking over to this side is we're actually live, and if anybody wants to pose us a question, we're here on Vimeo with our chat window. We're also have a chat window open on LinkedIn. So if you're in the event, you're more than welcome to pose a question. And for Susanne, I'd just like to ask you about the marketing canvas, which I've got open here on the screen, and just maybe explain which bit of this do the people you work with find most difficult to fill in. What's the big stumbling block? There's nine. There's nine to choose from.
What is your idea? Do you wanna make a guess?
Yeah, I would say maybe alternative solution. I reckon they'd find it difficult to come out with some creative alternative solutions.
No, actually, it's more the unfair advantage.
Okay.
So that's actually something. So defining what makes you unique and where you come from. Sometimes we just don't see ourselves so clearly because it's always a given fact, and we underestimate the expertise we bring in with all the previous customer projects we've already tackled. And I think that my colleagues don't really understand sometimes how powerful their knowledge really is and how special. So, and I try to help them to identify what bits and pieces in regards to this product are really an unfair advantage because our customers couldn't copy it because of our very, very, very unique past can help in this regard. For example, having a global footprint is just no unfair advantage, or a certain certification. So in B2B, I very often see that a lot of companies are using the same factors to differentiate themselves, but it's actually not that powerful, and they should look a bit deeper. Usually it's the expertise of their team members that makes them so special. And if they tap into this level, then you also have the opportunity to work with the people themselves. And then this is where B2B can get a bit more emotional because you're marketing to people and not to
Exactly.
companies.
I'm going to use that in fact, just what you said, Susanne, B2B versus B2C. We had that discussion over time. I mean, this is episode 8 we're doing today, and we had that discussion all along going on, mostly around branding and specific areas of marketing. And what we found so many times is that there's that big myth about B2B marketing, and but B2C has also marketing and has also product marketing very heavily, in fact. But it seems that there's always a delay of B2C trying something and then B2B eventually later on coming and saying, oh yeah, I can do it too. Do you see the same with the people you deal with on the B2B that are just thinking that B2B is such a beast on its own, but in fact, if you look at B2C, there's also so much to learn about it?
B2B product marketing is definitely probably a bit more complex. Products are just more sophisticated, and you sometimes have to be an engineer to really get the full product, which most B2B marketers, myself included, just not are. So it's B2C marketers have, I guess, it's easier to be customer centric because understanding customers, looking through their eyes, is so much easier in the B2C environment. They have really this problem-oriented view. And in B2C, we are so in love with our technology and all the technical aspects that that we always start from this product and solution-oriented view. And this is where I guess B2B has to learn, or can learn more from B2C, looking more at the customer-centric part. How can I help my customer to solve the goal with my product instead of why is my product so very special? And these technical aspects are something everyone should love. So this is probably due to the complexity. So I think with the marketing canvas framework, you get an access to a more customer-centric view, or also a questionnaire you can use to review or to ask your team, so you can ensure that you get this new perspective and find a customer-centric value proposition as well.
I think that's really great as well, because I think one of the things you touched on there was something that I come across quite regularly in B2B marketing. We have this feeling that there's certain elements that messages that we need to get out, and so we have this ISO standard, we conform to this IEC standard, we have that tick box thing done as well, because our competitors do as well. So we make sure it's on the list, and we sort of it gets very dull and boring. That's for sure. And this is what I really like, this opportunity to really sort of breathe, take a deep breath, broaden the view, get more insights out of people, and poke around in a lot more detail to find out a lot more about the people we're trying to sell to. As we said, it's people to people.
I mean, in the end, you just want to get the people curious to watch the movie. You don't want to answer all their questions. You want them to get engaged in real life conversations with your sales team. So you don't have to answer all their potential questions in the website or in a white paper. You really shouldn't do that. You should spark their excitement and make them curious enough to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the time is flying. This is just amazing how far we're going through this. I mean, this is such an interesting topic. What I'd like to do is to spend the next couple of minutes just to maybe round everything that we've talked about and give like 5 top tips to the people that are listening to this program. So I'm going to let you start, Susanne. Give us 1 or 2 of them, and maybe Stuart will give 1 or 2, and I'll finish on that.
Okay, so I start with, so there is no shortcut to solving a problem. You always have to look at it from a 360-degree perspective. And I know that we are always under a time pressure, but we don't do ourselves any good if we just overstep that. So use methodology to be more structured, to ensure that you can tell your elevator pitch with all the bits and pieces it needs. And then you're all set to go. That's my tip.
That's a good tip. That's pretty good. Stuart, you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I'd say I think the marketing canvas and sort of other strategies, anything that gives you some structure is a great way of working together as a team, drawing people together and providing some sort of common way of gathering information. And while you're doing that, someone's like Susanne, who's come up with this concept out of a need. It's important to have somebody like that on board to guide everybody through that process and to make sure that get out the real reasons, find out the real names of the people, the roles that they play, how they refer to each other, even if it's in a funny or amusing way. If they call themselves nerds, there's nothing wrong with calling them nerds as well. That's how they see themselves. So I think those are really key elements, and that brings a real truthful message out as you're trying to then market that product and participate in communication with those people. Not necessarily in every document or every medium you make, but there's room probably for 1 or 2 in there.
I love that.
And I would close with maybe the fact that in a company, product marketing, there's usually 1 marketing team and 1 to multiple product marketing teams. They have to work together. They have to align themselves, and they have to communicate from the very beginning of product marketing discussions about how to position a product into the market. And using a methodology like the marketing canvas provides a potential for uniformity across the company and a routine that goes on about how to communicate, how to bring the right people, regardless if this is sales, if this is marketing, product marketing, the product team itself who's designing the product. So there's a whole understanding about the competitive landscape, how you position the product, and overall how basically what is the message and the audience you want to touch. And I think this is so important to have that methodology. Fantastic. Susanne, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been fantastic. I mean, I just cannot believe how fast the time just flew by.
It was a lot of fun. And whoever wants to learn more about the marketing canvas can just reach me or check me out on LinkedIn or send me an email, and I'm happy to send over the template and to give more advice on how to apply it. And thanks for your invitation. I really enjoyed the 30 minutes. It went by like 3, so yeah.
That means
Exactly, yeah.
that hopefully this is the same for our viewers.
Hopefully, yeah.
Stuart, as always, thank you for being with us and bringing your experience to the pod.
Thanks very much again, Flavio. It's always great fun. It's especially the preparation for this particular show and looking into all the aspects and taking time to consider the marketing canvas. There are so many tools and methodologies on the market. It's I was going to mention another one. I don't have time now, but it's nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as clear. It's nowhere near as structured. And I think you need to use things that work and draw people together in an environment where people come from different backgrounds and don't always understand the big picture or can't see it in the way as a marketing person can.
That's right.
Or needs to.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this opportunity to talk around this topic and also draw on your insights as well, Susanne. That's been brilliant.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll have more opportunities for everybody out there. This is a fantastic opportunity for learning more about product marketing and marketing, how it fits together. We are the Creative Minds, and we are so happy that you've been with us today. Just subscribe for the channel, and keep in touch with us on LinkedIn, Twitter. And absolutely, we want to have you back on the show. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one.